Hey everyone, this is Matt. In today's video, I have for you a Labrynth deck list, not deck profile, right? So this is going to be an addendum to the deck profile that I did last week. Wait a minute, you're making a second Labrynth list already 1 week later? Yes. So like I said in my last video, my profile, basically, I released that Labrynth deck day one of Photon Hypernova, right? Because I did well at the locals, and I didn't really have that much time to play test it. You know, it was still kind of at its early stages. There was still a lot of work in progress. So, so over the course of the last week, I just felt like I've been able to make my deck better, and also just had more playtesting. I took this deck to the locals. This is the same deck that I took yesterday to the locals, where I won the box, where I got first place. I did not go undefeated, but I did get first place because it was a Swiss into single elimination cutoff system. So anyway, yeah. So if you want detailed explanation of the cards, go see that video. I'm just gonna run through real quick my current deck list and the changes I made and why I made these changes. So. By the way, you'll notice my temporary field center is this Primal Being token. That's a spoiler for what's to come. But basically, where's my Labrynth field center? It's elsewhere. I don't want to find it right now because I'm trying to make this video a lot shorter than the last one. And also, if you prefer shorter videos to longer videos, because most people on the internet have no attention span, then this is the video for you rather than my last one. So anyway, so this is more of an addendum than anything. All right, so let's get started. Labrynth package. 3 copies of Lady of Labrynth. Wait. Last video you said 2. Am I admitting that I was wrong? Not necessarily. So let me get through the package and I'll tell you about it. So 1 copy of Lovely, 1 copy of Ariana. So in my last video I had 2 Lady, 2 Ariana, right, and 1 Lovely. So I still had 5 monsters total. And then last video I hinted that I thought about cutting Ariana down to 1, and when I started playtesting that, when I saw that that one Hansen guy at the YCS in Lyon cut it down to 1, and he had a good time with it, and I've been playtesting this at 1, and even when I had this at 2, and I was citing out 1 copy a lot of times, I noticed that, oh wow, I never really needed the second copy, so this goes down to 1. However, the problem is if you only have 4 Labrynth monsters, you kind of run out of targets for your welcome very quickly. Your regular welcome, not your big welcome. Big welcome will always have targets, but your regular welcome Labrynth will run out. I noticed runs out of targets with only just 4 monsters. In fact, before when I had 2 Ariana, so let's pretend this was the second Ariana. Oftentimes, especially going second, I would side out both of them, and then I would only have 3 welcome targets, right? Like, so I would side them out for when I was going second, right? So definitely I started noticing that cutting to Ariana made me feel short on Labrynth, welcome Labrynth targets. So to compensate, I decided, all right, well, I got to put at least 1 Labrynth monster back in, and what's the best possible Labrynth monster I can put in to get back to that nice 5 ratio? Because I enjoyed it when it was at 5 monsters. Not the Ku Klux, not any of the furniture, not a second Ari, not a second Lovely. So the absolute best monster for me to put back in is a 3rd Lady, even though I was perfectly happy with just 2 Lady. There's no better option right now. Like if in the future we get Labrynth support and we get a new broken boss monster, then yeah, I'll take out the 3rd Lady for that monster. But as of right now, this is like Lady is the best target for your welcome Labrynth, right? Assuming you can't access for these or whatever. So that way, if I do side out Ariana going second, I still have 4 targets. So I'm never gonna run out of targets for welcome Labrynth. Yeah, I think 5 is the magic number. And the reason for that is because you're soon going to see my other ratios, why that is. But anyway, yeah, so I'm back to 3 Lady, not because I was wrong, but because I wanted to cut Ari to 1, and I felt like I needed an extra monster, and she was honestly the best monster I could possibly put in. So, yeah, so Lady's back at 3, Ari's at 1. Those are the monsters. Traps. 3 copies of Big Welcome Labrynth, 2 copies of Welcome Labrynth. I stand by 2 Welcome Labrynth. I will die on this hill. This is the correct ratio. Play a 2. Play a 2 and let me know how it goes for you. I swear, you will not miss it at 2, right? Especially if you play Trap Trick, which you should be playing. If you're not playing Trap Trick, then put this at 3, I suppose. But yeah, like there's no reason to have more than 2 of these. And in fact, 5 welcomes, 5 targets. You're good. And in fact, the big welcomes can technically bring out the same can repeat targets. So, and welcome will recycle itself. So you'll never need more than 2. Trust me on this. Try 2. You will not regret it. And that's it for the Labrynth package. Wait, where's the field spell? It's in the side deck. So, yeah, the field spell was a card that I hated seeing going second, so I sided it out, and now I sided in for going first. So that's my Labrynth package. The back row package, cards that are great in back row decks. 3 Lord of the Heavenly Prison, I will down this hill. 3 is the best ratio. I think Hansen at YCS Leon, he cited 2 of these, and he said it was the best card in his deck. He wished he had a 3rd copy, and every time he saw this card, it was amazing. Seriously, play 3 of these in the main. It's even better than 2 in the side or 1 in the main. Just straight up 3. In fact, if you want game 2 or 3, depending on your matchup, right? So depending on what matchup you have, and you're going second, you can side 2 of the one or 2 of these out. So against Kashtira, they don't really have many cards that pop. Going second against Kashtira, I'll side out a copy, right? Because I don't need the 3rd. Going first, you always want this, and when you're in game 1 and you're blind, you're always going to want this. And against matchups where your opponent has ways to pop your cards, for example, Sword Soul Blackout, Branded in Red into Guardian Chimera, Branded Beast, you definitely want to have 3 in your deck, right? So 3 in the main deck. You never really brick on this card. It's great. It's straight gas. Better than furniture. Better than anything else. The more I play this card, the more I'm convinced this is one of the best cards in the deck, and the more I'm convinced about 3 in the main deck. So please play 3. Running 2 Extravagance, 2 Duality. Extravagance is all about card advantage. A lot of other decks want to run Prosperity. I don't really think that's necessary because Prosperity nets 0. This nets 1, right? And like if your deck is built well, then you don't care what 2 you draw. And then 2 Duality. You never want to see more than 1 of these in your opening hand. You never want an Extrav to draw into a second Extrav. You never want to open 2 Duality because that's just bricky. So 2 of those. 2 Trap Trick. This searches normal trap cards. 2 more copies of Welcome. 2 more copies of Big Welcome. You're always going to see your starters. So I don't want to hear anyone complaining about my welcome at 2 because I have this. So 3 copies of Solemn Strike. This card is amazing. You see all 3 going first or second. It's going to be good, right? Most boards cannot play through a few of these, like one or more of these. So, and in fact, if you're in the Labrynth Mirror matchup, guess what? If your opponent activates Lady in their hand, Solemn Strike it. Lady dies, right? So, yeah, this is a great card. Please play Pluri. This card never gets sided out. It's just straight up amazing. So, yeah, so that's my back row package. Trying to speed through this here. Alright, let's get into normal traps. 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. This card is like probably the second best trap card in this deck. I don't see why you wouldn't play 3. If you have the field spell, your monsters get revived after you blow up the board. But also, most of the time, if you set this in like your welcome traps, you can literally flip Torrential before your welcome, like blow out their board and then summon your monsters, right? So like you can choose the order you activate your cards. So yeah, you have essentially 5 copies of this. This is great. Going first or second with Trap Trick, you have 5 copies. This is not hard once per turn. You can use all 3 of these if you open in your opening hand. Yeah, this in the semifinals of the locals, this card won me the game. Basically, I was against a cash player, and he put out like he already used Unicorn. He already used Fenrir. He already used the Tearlaman's Kashtira, and he activated his Rise Heart in hand to special to the field. I chained Trap Trick, set Torrential, and then when Rise Heart hit the field, I flipped Torrential, killed his whole board. But bam, like this card is amazing. Please play this card. Yeah, you won't regret it. It's, again, second best trap card in this deck. 2 copies of Dogmatic Punishment. This card is once per turn, folks. There's no point in running a 3rd copy. You don't want to see 2 in your opening hand. Since you have Trap Trick, you essentially have 4 copies of this. This is great in the mirror matchup. Some players are cutting it because they want to use a fake extra deck to fake out their opponent. Completely unnecessary. I played 4 Kashtira players yesterday, and yeah, there's no point in faking the extra deck. I'd rather have punishment with my extra deck targets than not, than trying to do this weird fake out because it's not going to do anything. Yeah, this card is great. Almost always useful. 1 copy of Compulsory, 1 copy of D-Berry. Wait a minute. 1 copy of Compulsory, 1 copy of D-Berry. What's up with this? Didn't I used to have 2 copies of Compulsory so that you can Trap Trick into Compulsory? Correct. But the reason I cut Compulsory down to 1 is because I noticed I almost never, ever Trap Trick into Compulsory. If I'm Trap Tricking, I'm going into Welcome, I'm going into Big Welcome, I'm going into Trench, I'm going into Punishment. So do I really need 2 copies of this? Like, I literally never found myself Trap Tricking into this. And also, this can be searched off Lady. So if I really need a single targeted bounce, then I can just grab it off Lady. Otherwise, this card is like just strictly worse than every other trap card in this deck, right? Torrential's better. Punishment's better. Like the welcomes are better. And then other traps I'll show you later are going to be better. So yeah, I felt like I never needed 2 copies. And also a lot of times, especially when I'm going second, I side the shit out. Like what is this one bounce gonna do? Help me with going second? Not much. So going second, I found myself already taking this out most of the time, and even going first, sometimes I would just take this out because I just wanted to side in better cards. So yeah, I think 1 copy in the main is all you need. You're never going to trap trick into this. D-Bear is an MVP card, so why am I only running 1? Because, this is highly searchable. It's not as good going second. It's a lot better going first. And, yeah, you have, like, that recursion with Lovely. So, and also this doesn't really remove a body, so it's not really going to trigger any of your Labyrinth effects. So, I don't know. This was an MVP card, and I still thought it was an MVP card at 1 copy because... again, it's so searchable. You can search it off Lord. You can search it off Lady. You can recycle it with Lovely. That I never needed more than 1 copy. So, finally, our last 3 normal traps, 3 copies of Evenly Matched. In my last video, I had 2 copies of Evenly Matched, but I decided, you know what? Instead of compulsory, I'd rather have a 3rd Evenly Matched. Like that's how good this card was. It was an MVP card against Kashtira, game 1. They usually lock 3 of your zones. You evenly match them, they scoop, right? Against Sword Soul, I played a lot of Sword Soul. There's 2-way Sword Soul play now. A lot of Sword Soul players are only ending on Chi plus back row because they're playing around either Nibiru or Lava Golem. You hit them with evenly, they're done, right? Like no blackout for you, sorry. If they do go into Baron de Fleur, then they're playing into Nibiru and or Lava Golem. And if they're playing against Labyrinth, you gotta assume there's at least a Lava Golem, right? But if they do go into Baron de Fleur, guess what? This will just bait the Baron's negate, and then Baron will just be a 3k body that can pop as a slow effect on your opponent's turn. So yeah, even if they do negate it with Baron, it doesn't matter because you got the negate out. Because Baron's negate is not once per turn; it's once period while it's on the field. So yeah, this card is great. It was an MVP card, so I bumped this up from 2 to 3. And then obviously in the Labyrinth Mirror matchup, this is going to be really good. By the way, folks, technically, you can trap trick into this. This is a normal trap. So if trap trick is the only card on your field, and they're in battle phase, they swing into you, you can literally trap trick into this, and then end of battle phase, flip it, and then it's just all right. So clear your board. So even if you don't see this like right away, you can theoretically trap trick into it. You can also set it off of Lady, right? And in the Labyrinth Mirror matchup, this is hilarious because like. I mean, you might as well keep this for the Labyrinth Mirror, going first or second, just because like you can just always grab it off Lady, and it's like if they have more set cards than you, then this will be useful, right? Because it literally like evens the sides, right? So yeah, that's a hilarious thing. All right, those are all the normal traps. Floodgates, 3 goes in. This card single-handedly wins me games. Wins against Sword Soul, wins against Kashtira, wins against Sprite, wins against Tri Brigade, wins against so much, wins against Naturia, right? So yeah, play 3 goes in. When I saw this card, I won. That like it's as simple as that. Oh, let's keep this here. And then 3 copies of Skill Drain. So, yeah, Skill Drain, also MVP card. I saw this, I won. I don't... Oh, but what about your Labyrinth monster effects? Don't need them. If you have Skill Drain, you're going to win, and your opponent cannot out it, you're going to win, and they're not. So, yeah, it doesn't matter that you Skill Drain your own monsters, because you're hurting your opponent way more than you're hurting you. Alright. Is that the deck list? Wait, that's only 38 cards, right? What are the last 2 cards? Nibiru the Primal Being, baby. Let's go. Nibiru the Primal Being. That's right. I'm main decking 2 copies of Nibiru. And this card has quickly, in playtesting, but also at yesterday's locals, have really shot up in terms of value. I'm only running 2 because I don't want to see more than 1 in my opening hand. Because so evenly matched is not once per turn. So if you evenly match, they Baron negate, you can immediately play a second evenly matched, right? Nibiru is once per turn. So if they negate it, that's it. Like you can't play a 3rd one. So honestly, I think 2 is all you need. Again, this hits Kashtira unless even by the way, even against the Adventure Kashtira player that I played yesterday, I Nibiru'd him. He used Griffin Rider to negate Nibiru. Okay, and then I top deck evenly, and he didn't have Griffin Rider, so I evenly his board. So again, like it baits the Griffin Rider, so might as well, right? What if they go? So what if they have Baron de Fleur? So basically, Sword Soul to get 5 summons. You have Moye, token, Chishao, Longran, token, and before they make Baron, that's 5, Nibiru, right? But what if they go Moye, token, Longran, token, and then their 5th summon is Baron? that's fine. You still want Nibiru on the end of their main phase, just to take that Barone negate away. Like, why let them have the Barone negate, right? Make their Barone useless, right, by running Nibiru. So yeah, so that's why I have this temporary field center, the Primal Being token. Yeah, because this is the optimal. You may not like it, but this is what peak Yu-Gi-Oh looks like. So the optimal end board for Kashtira is Primal Being token. So yeah, help them reach their peak end board by running Nibiru in your main. And yeah, and because Nibiru is a token, if you also evenly match them, then they have to keep the token. They're not allowed to keep any other cards because tokens cannot be banished face down. By the way, folks, if you're playing against Adventure Cashier, this came up yesterday at locals. I Nibiru'd, he bounced Griffin Rider, and then on my turn I evenly, but he had the Adventure token. Guess what? Adventure token is a token, cannot be banished face down. Therefore, he had to clear his whole board except the Adventure token. So yeah, it's hilarious. And yeah, a Primal Being token, very easy to out. You can compulsory, you can pop it. There's many ways to out it. You can goes and lock them into lights, right? But basically, if like a Cashier player has this on this field, it's like, like they can't they can't special their level 7. So yeah, Nibiru, great card. Hits. By the way, Branded Bestials also summons a lot, right? Because of all their new support, they got that one 2500 fusion and that other Cartesia fusion, right? They actually summon 5 times, so you can actually hit Branded Bestial with this. They also summon their Bestial monsters, whereas before Branded Despia they never summoned 5, but now they do. So yeah, you hit them with this. Sprite summons 5 times. What if they have red? Then you get rid of their red, or you Nibiru before they red, or whatever, right? The point is that almost every deck, except for in the Labrynth Mirror, is going to summon 5 times, and with very few ways to negate, and even with the negate, it's like their one and only negate. So yeah, Nibiru is great. This card was low-key MVP yesterday as well, so obviously I would side this out going first. But yeah, imagine you have 2 Nibirus in the main, 3 Evenlies in the main, right? And then on the side we have Lava Golems, Hero Modes. It's like, what board are you not breaking, right? So that's a 40-card deck. Extra deck. So Dogmatic Punishment targets: 3 Intis, 1 Garura, 1 Pegasus, 1 Omega, 1 Meteorologic Aggregator, 2 Bucephalus. If I owned a second copy of Garura, I would be playing Garura. You know what's hilarious? A lot of times when Kashtira players looked at my extra deck, they took out Garura for some. I just thought that was weird, right? I mean, maybe it's because I only have 1. If I had 2, maybe they would take something else out. But yeah, I just want to go all in on the Dogmatic Punishment targets because again, in my previous videos I talked about the Xyz monsters. I almost never go into them anyway, so just double down on Dogmatic Punishment. Bucephalus is great because it's a 3500 body, so you need to out big monsters. You can do that, and if you also have Garura, you could get a draw 1. So yeah, I guess because I had the 1 Garura, Kashtira would banish this, so I wouldn't get a draw 1 off of Bucephalus, right? Because you send Bucephalus, you can then send Garura, get a draw 1. So yeah, if I own a second copy of Garura, which I hope I'll get soon, I would have a second copy here. Alright, so if that's my punishment targets, what's the rest? So because we're only running Run Ariana, all of the rank 4s are out, but we do have rank 8s. We have Dingirsu. Dingirsu is back. I think he was a few profiles ago. He's a rank 8. Guess what, folks? Big Welcome does not lock you into Fiends, but Welcome does. And in fact, Lady can special summon herself for free, pretty much, and she's a level 8, and she does not lock you into Fiends. So now that we have back to 3 ladies and 1 lovely, you can actually might make Dingirsu sometimes, right? And we're also running the Numeron package. 1 copy of Hope Harbinger, number 38, 1 copy of number 97, Dragublion, 1 copy of number 100, Numeron Dragon. In case you need an OTK, you have an OTK package. But also, let's say you randomly banish some of these off of Extravagance. Guess what? These are all big attack monsters. 3K, 3K, 2600, 35, 35, right? So we have a lot more high attack targets for Dogmatic Punishment than we ever did before. But yeah, so I'm running this. These 4 never came up. So yeah, don't even if you want to cut these for something else, go for it. But I mean, other than rank 10s or ranks 8s, there's no point in running rank 4s. Like, because of 3 Lord of the Heavenly Prison, we can run rank 10s if we want, like the Gustav package, right? So anyway, that's the extra deck. Yeah. Sorry, 2 more cards. Lingeribos. Yeah, so this is just for Ibli. You just get like a free. It's just funny. Just link it away. Get a free body that can negate trap cards. This is 15 cards. What would I take out to put in my second Garura? I take out a Lingeribo. Like this is just This is just for the lulz. Like, honestly, this never came up. Nobody ever Ibleed me'd. So yeah, take one out, put in a second Garura, and you'll be good to go. Yeah, I gotta get me a second Garura. I never thought I would need two, but alas, here we are. Side deck. We're siding the Labrynth field spell. This is for going first, and only sometimes, depending on the matchup. Sometimes you don't even bother. 3 Lava Golem, 3 Sphere Mode. Still in the market for the third Ghost one, but yeah, you side these in against Kashtira. Wait, what do you side out? So every time you put in Lava Golem, you will always take out Ariana and 2 Duality. So these will never conflict. So these 3 come out, these 3 go in. Period. Like that's the most straightforward because these conflict with those, right? What about for Sphere Modes? What do you take out? So if I'm going second against Kashtira, I take out Extrav, right? Because Extrav triggers what's it called? The space one, the Shangri-La, right? Which will lock even more zones, right? And I usually also take out a D barrier just because, like, oh, D barrier going second, not as good, right? So there you go. So take out going second against Cash. These 3 come out for these 3, and then these 3 go in place of Duality and whatever. So yeah. So if you're ever unsure what to side out, there you go. Like against Sword Soul, you don't need Sphere Mode, but you can Lava Golem. Again, 2 Dualities and Ariana come out. So. Alright, so that's 7 of our extra deck. Let's go into the rest of our extra deck. 1 copy of Virus. This is for the Lab Mirror matchup, but also this is great against just like blowing out your opponent's spells. Spells are like one of the strongest cards in the game, right? 2 copies of Iron Wall. This card is cracked. 2 copies of Rivalry of Warlords. So Witch's Strike is out. Why? Because there were almost no scenarios, or very few scenarios, where Witch's Strike actually would have been live because we're playing the Nibiru and evenly matched. Barone almost never had their negate for Witch's Strike available, right? Adventure Kashtira, like same deal. It's like you're probably not going to be able to Witch's Strike. And then I've been seeing, and again, Adventure Kashtira very rare compared to regular Kashtira, so you're not going to Witch's Strike against regular Kashtira. And then other matchups, Sprite, Red, and Carrot, they negate effects. They don't negate activations, so you can't Witch's Strike them. You could Witch's Strike if they had Toad, if they made Toad, I guess, but Sprite isn't really making Toad anymore. Yeah, so Witch's Strike is out, Rivalries, and Rivalry is for the Brand Abyssal matchup. This hits Brand Abyssal, this hits Naturia, this hits a few Rogue decks, but for the most part, and technically this could hit Kashtira because Arise Heart is a machine, but all their other monsters are psychic. So I personally would not, and same with Dracosack. Dracosack is a machine, but personally I would not side this in going first against Kashtira. But I would side in Imperial Iron Wall. This card is cracked. Theoretically, you can run just one of these if you want, because Lord of Heavenly Prison can set this, and then you'll flip it immediately on your on next turn, and then cards cannot be banned. So this card will not leave the field. So yeah, this card was also a really good card. And by the way, if you have Imperial Iron Wall on the field, you can use Lord of Heavenly Prisons to search Solemn Judgment, to search Goes and Match, and those cards will stay on the field. It's hilarious. So yeah, really good cards here. And then speaking of last 3 cards, 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Goes without saying, it's just back row protection. So the one time I lost yesterday was in the Swiss round against the Adventure Kashtira players. I saw 0 side deck cards over 2 games, right? So I remember game 2, I sided in 3 Judgment, I had 3 Lords in the deck, I had all my pots. I didn't see any of these cards. And then he saw his 1 copy of Feather Duster and blew me out. I'm like, well, I guess I just lose. So sometimes it happens, but most of the time that will not happen. In fact, it did not happen in any of my other 7 matches. Yeah. It's like, oh, is this a trap deck? Is it good going second? Yes. In all 7 matches yesterday, I lost a die roll. I went second game 1. And in 5 of those, I 2-0'd my opponent. In 1 of them, I lost 0-2 just because I got unlucky. I didn't see my side deck cards. And in the finals against Sword Soul, I 2-1. They saw double Cosmic Cyclones, and I did not see Iron Wall. So yeah. Anyway, so that's my deck. Hopefully this you enjoyed. Will I be making more of these like quicker addendums videos? Probably, because again, Labrynth is a hot deck right now. There's a lot of playtesting that is going on. But I think now that we've had some time to let the post-Photon Hypermodal format breathe, I think that yeah, this is the deck that this is the deck list that I feel most confident about now that I've actually had more time to playtest. Whereas the deck profile that I made last week was kind of rushed. As I mentioned in the last video, where I didn't have that much time to playtest, and it was literally day 1 of the new ban list. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next video. Peace.